Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. We're going to be taking an adventure through time and space this time, and we're going to check out the new Doctor Who 60th anniversary special, The Star Beast. So after over 350 days of waiting, Doctor Who has finally returned to our screens with 3 60th anniversary specials, the first which is titled Star Beast. Returning with it as the 14th Doctor is David Tennant, and he finds himself returning to an old face and to old friends as the TARDIS has taken him to see Catherine Tate's Donna Noble, whom we saw 15 years ago when her mind was flooded with the Time Lord meta-crisis, and to save her, the 10th Doctor was forced to wipe her mind of him and any of their adventures, with the threat of her death should she ever find out. The Doctor, finding Donna in modern day England, finds not only is she still married to Sean Temple, but she also has a daughter, Rose, who when a spaceship crashes nearby befriends its pilot, a small cuddly creature called the Meep. Complicating things even more is the Meep is being hunted down by Wrath warriors who turn Donna's neighborhood into a war zone to try and capture the being, and on top of that, UNIT has also responded and is closing in on all of the alien threats in the vicinity. So this episode is actually a comic adaptation of The Star Beast by Pat Mills and Dave Gibbons, the artist who most people should probably know from Watchmen. To my knowledge, this is the first time an old Doctor Who comic has been turned into a live action episode. I think they've done radio dramas on some things and some animation stuff with some other ones. This is the first live action one, I believe, and I think that's really quite cool. Adapting some old comics for new stories is great, and it adapts it quite well, keeping the bones of the story intact with the Meep and the Wrath warriors, while also updating it to replace the main companions of the comic with Donna and her family, and it all just works. On top of the alien hunting, we also get caught up with Donna and her family. Last time we saw Donna, she was getting married to Sean and had won the lottery thanks to the Doctor, and when we pick back up with her, we learn that she's actually given all of her money away, having wanted to use it to help others, just like quote-unquote he would do, that he being the Doctor, a person she can't really remember but knows that she met at some point. Donna also has a daughter named Rose, who we learn is transgender and becomes the subject to bullying by her school peers. Identity is a real big theme of Doctor Who. It's been prevalent ever since 1963. But with the main character of the series changing said identity every few years, going from man to woman and changing races even. And the show explores that really well with Rose. Donna won't put up with the bullying that she suffers, supporting her in everything she does, and it's quite cool that the show doesn't shy away from the prejudice that trans communities are subject to, and even Donna and her mother have a real conversation about if they are treating Rose right when they say certain things to her, catching themselves when they accidentally misgender them as well. It's a nice little scene that felt real, since I'm sure anyone who's had trans friends or trans family have gone through that exact same thing. Acting wise, I've got no real complaints at all, and all the credit in the world goes to Tennant and Tate, who just ease back into these characters like they never really left. Tate has some really great chemistry and interactions with her family, specifically Yam and Finney, who plays her daughter Rose. Jacqueline King also returns as Sylvia and plays her just wonderfully. She has this great warmth and a humor throughout the episode. I just love her interactions with David, especially when she notices him first turning up. She wants nothing to do with him and wants him staying far away from Donna, and it's a lot of fun. It was really cool as well seeing her come around for the adventure as well, and it's just background stuff, but I really liked how close she was with Rose in a lot of scenes, like both in the vicinity of each other and how they also interacted with each other. They felt like they were granddaughter and grandmother, and it just felt really real. So anyway, as Rose makes friends with the Meep and Donna discovers the alien in her house, the Doctor learns not all as it seems with the ship, as it's not crashed Earth like he thinks. It actually landed in a steelworks, almost like it's there to make a pit stop for repairs, finding that it has a dangerous dagger drive installed, which could destroy the world should it activate. On top of that, a strange light from the ship infects UNIT personnel and uses them as its own personal soldiers to go after the Meep, causing the Doctor to intervene with Donna and her family and help them escape the oncoming violence. As the Doctor tries to mediate what the fuck is going on between the Meep and the Warth warriors, we learn the creature isn't so cuddly and is actually an intergalactic killer whose race was turned insane by their psychedelic sun, a sentient sun that went mad itself, with the Warth warriors acting as cops who are chasing down the creature for killing the Intergalactic Council. The Meep manages to escape back to its ship and start up its dagger drive, which begins destroying most of London, and Donna's looming meta crisis comes to a head with her and the Doctor becoming trapped on the ship, and the Doctor is forced to kind of Winter Soldier Donna a little bit with some code words that give her memories back, allowing them to stop the Meep before it can destroy all of London. Donna's power overtakes her, but doesn't end up killing her thanks to half of the Metacrisis power passing to Rose when she was born, thus allowing Donna to survive. And being now that both of these women have powers, they are able to just kind of give it up and free themselves from it, so there's no more Metacrisis, no more looming danger to Donna. This is where I felt the story got a little bit clunky. I 100% support the message it's trying to tell about binary and non-binary people and how they are really awesome people as well, but the way it's worded and scripted just feels very odd, and it's really odd compared to the really lovely interaction we got with Donna and Sylvia discussing such things earlier on in the episode, where that felt real and, you know, thought out and actually came from a place that the writers and actors and everyone involved had been in. This just kind of felt like kind of thrown in there at last minute, and again, I fully support the meaning behind it. It just felt very clunky. Apart from that, I don't actually have anything bad to really say about the show. It's fantastic. Doctor Who is back. The only problem I did have, and it's not really even a problem, is that it just didn't really feel like a special episode at all. This was a 60th anniversary special, but it felt like a classic Russell T Davies Monster of the Week episode. And you compare that to the 50th from 10 years ago, we got 3 Doctors interacting with each other and many more making cameos all through the episode. Maybe they didn't want to just dump it all in the first episode, since of course we're getting 3 specials, so maybe they're trying to spread it out across the episodes. And in a way, having Tennant and Tate coming back, close out their character stories, is sort of the big draw for this anniversary, so I could see that being sort of the big thing they were hoping to bank on. And in a way, it's really quite smart to do that, so you get the nostalgia of those characters and their overarching story, with Tennant trying to find out why this particular face has come back, and then that story leads quite organically into the introduction of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor taking over in the Christmas special. If you're like me as well, I watched this through Disney Plus, which is very weird to think, you know, watching Doctor Who on Disney Plus. But of course, that's because Disney Plus helped co-finance this new series, these new specials, and the new series that's coming. Therefore, Doctor Who now has Disney money, and Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf put it all on the screen. Everything is bigger and more bombastic, and they now have proper camera work and lighting, and the show practically looks like a movie, even going for the 2:1 aspect ratio rather than the classic 16:9. The new opening is also fantastic and colourful and gets you just so hyped. I just love the Doctor Who theme. It's just so exciting and adventurous, and Murray Gold, who returns from his work in the early 2005 series, makes great use of themes that he conducted back for that series and applying them throughout this episode, and then reworking them to make new themes, new interesting themes. The special effects as well look insanely good, but the show doesn't forget its roots, utilizing really cool practical puppets for the Meep and the Warth warriors, and they just look fantastic. Just something physically there for the actors to run off of, and it just works. It looks great. The Doctor's sonic screwdriver also gets some more visual effects. It's not just a sound that can pop open doors or do something like hack a computer. It's being used to create computer screens and shields and so much more. It's a little overpowered now, but I'm kind of fine with that, since it's always been a device that writers use in the plot just for convenience when they need to move the plot along, or just have like a Deus Ex Machina in there somewhere. Lastly, of course, we get a new TARDIS interior, and it's kind of grown significantly thanks to that Disney money, since now we've got a multi-level set that just looks fantastic. It's back to the classic white circle hexagonal look. It just looks brilliant. I love all of the ramps and everything, specifically as well because that means it's a bit more handicap accessible, which makes me hope that the character we were introduced to in this episode, Shirley, the unit science technician, gets to come along on some adventures, being that she's in a wheelchair and she's kind of a badass as well. I'll save you to watch the episode to see how much of a badass she is, but hopefully she gets to come along on some adventures now that the TARDIS is a bit more accessible to other people. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they customize that set, because of course Gatwa's upcoming season is going to require a new TARDIS, or at least a new look for the TARDIS interior, and I'm intrigued to see how they're going to layer it onto this bare bones white interior. So yeah, Doctor Who is now back. It's bigger than ever, it's more popular than ever, if just by going off what I've seen through social media. Loads of people are talking about it, lots of new fans, which I'm really excited for. I'm glad that people are going back to watching the old Tennant stuff, the Eccleston stuff, even stuff before that with William Hartnell and John Pertwee and all the great actors who have played Doctor Who. And I'm very much looking forward to the next 2 specials, as well as Ncuti Gatwa's upcoming series in December. The show has never looked so good, it's never been written as well as it has been now. There were some clunky stuff, but it can easily be ironed out in the coming episodes, and I'm just looking forward to seeing more of these characters that I and many other people grew up with. I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10.